Hey guys, so what I'm going to talk about today is how to set up a wireless controller to use with Anki. So this is going to be a PC tutorial. So for those that have PC laptops or PC desktops and you want to set up a wireless controller, this is the tutorial for you. So the first thing you're going to want to do is get a controller. And in my experience, I've gone through quite a few controllers. Most of them have been Bluetooth. And I found that Bluetooth is just too finicky. There's just too many tech issues for some reason. It could just be my bad luck, but every time I've gotten a Bluetooth controller, I've had connectivity issues or I've had sort of some lag. And for that reason, I actually recommend you get an adapter controller, especially if you're using a PC. And it works very similarly to a Bluetooth controller, but instead of using a Bluetooth signal, it's going to utilize this wireless adapter to connect. It works just as well, if not better than Bluetooth. I do want to point out that there are several different options. If you do want to stick with Bluetooth and you've had success with Bluetooth and you just don't have my bad luck, there's a ton of options out there. This one's a really popular one. It's a lot smaller than the one that I have, but it's also a little bit more portable. There's a blue version for those that want blue. Either one is going to work, but like I said, my recommendation is to shop around for a Bluetooth controller that's in your budget. This one is nice because although it is $35, it comes with two, so you can like split it with a friend or something, and that way you can both have a controller. So the next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to download a program called Joy to Key. Now, there are several programs that can allow you to program your controller with your PC. However, I've found that Joy to Key is probably the best one, and also it's the easiest to use. So you're going to want to go to their website. You can just Google Joy to Key. I'll also leave a link in the description below. And you're going to want to go to this link here to download the latest version. And come down here to download the latest version. And any of these links will work. I'll just click the first one here. And just going to download that and set it up. Whenever your controller is connected to your PC and you have Joy to Key running, you're going to notice that whenever you click a button on your controller, that a yellow light's going to flash depending on the button you click. So you'll notice that every button highlights a different key on the program. So unfortunately, every controller is going to have a different set of defaults. For example, on my particular controller, the A button causes the button 2 to light up, and my R button, for example, causes button 6 to light up. But on your controller, whenever you download Joy to Key and have your controller connected, it might actually have a different set of buttons. For example, on your controller, when you click the A button, it might cause the button 6 to light up, or when you click your B button, it might cause button 5 to light up. So because of this variance, unfortunately, I can't just create a list of what each button should be programmed to. But what we can do is talk about what I recommend for each particular button, especially for those who are using Anki. So the good news is that it's very easy to program these keys. I'm going to go ahead and click the A button on my controller, and that's going to take me to button 2. So what I'm going to want to do here is I'm going to click on button 2 and hit Edit Button Assignment. And in this screen, I can basically tell the Joy to Key program what I want the A button to click on my keyboard. So for me, I like to have the A button as the space bar, which is the same thing as the good button in Anki. So I'm going to go ahead and hit OK, and then I'm just going to go ahead and save. And so this will be my space bar in Anki. So now I can go back to my Anki, and I can just go ahead and hit my A button. And so now whenever I go through my cards, it'll just continue to go as if I'm clicking the space bar. So the next thing you want to do is program your controller and each of its keys to whatever you prefer. For me, I like to hold my controller vertically like this, where my thumb is on the circular buttons on the right here, and I have my index finger on the trigger, and my pinky finger here on the bottom left trigger. And I prefer this configuration because I can just kind of keep my hand here. This is my space bar, so the A button here on top. This B button I have it set to again, which is the equivalent of the 1 key on the numpad. And then these two keys I actually have set to scrolling up and scrolling down. And this allows me to just keep my thumb in the same space. And over here I have the R key, which is the right trigger. I have this one set to Control and Z, which allows me to hit undo. So if I want to go back a card, or if I felt like a review was too quick and I just want to undo it, I can just hit this right trigger. And then this bottom left key I have set to forgetting the card, which actually resets my card. And I can explain a little bit more about that later. But for now, this is what I recommend. And this is the way I found the most comfortable. I don't like holding my controller with two hands, because I find that using two hands for Anki is a little bit fatiguing. But having one hand like this, I can do this all day without getting tired. So this is how you would program the scrolling function in Joy to Key. So I'm going to go ahead and click my X button, and that for me that's button 4. So I'm going to go in here and go to Edit Button Assignment. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Mouse. And in the Mouse tab, there's a section called Wheel Rotation. And this is sort of counterintuitive. If you want the wheel or the scroll bar to scroll up, you actually have to move this bar down. So I'm going to go ahead and do that and hit OK. And then, of course, don't forget to save the profile whenever you make any changes to your settings. So now my X button is set to scroll up. So I'm going to go ahead and program the other key. For me, it's the Y button that I prefer to set to scrolling down. I'm going to go to Mouse, and then I'm going to, since this is going to scroll down, I'm going to move this up. Now it's counterintuitive. And I'm going to go ahead and save. So now I have these two keys, my buttons 3 and button 4, which is my Y and X and Y buttons, to scroll up and down. So I can click those on my controller and my computer will scroll up and down. So now what I can do is I can go into Anki, and let's do an example for a card. So let's say I'm studying this card, osteoblast build bone, and then now I can just by the click of a button scroll all the way down and see everything that corresponds to that card. So the last thing I want to show you guys is how to program one of your buttons to have multiple clicks on your keyboard. So let's say you want to have a button, give the command Control and Z. For me, I like to have that be on button 6, which is my right trigger. I'm going to go here into Edit Button Assignment, and in this keyboard emulation, I'm going to go ahead and click on this key, and I'm going to hit Control on my keyboard, and that's going to make this first box Control, and then the second box, I'm just going to hit the Z button. So you can put up to 4 functions. You'll never have anything that's going to require 4 inputs, but in case you do, you can program each one. So in my case, I'm going to have a Control plus Z function, hit OK, and of course hit Save. And that's going to allow me to hit undo on my Anki cards, which is really useful for me if I go too fast and I want to go back quickly. Here's my personal controller layout. This is how I prefer to program my keys, and this is what I have found to be the most comfortable for me. So feel free to copy this configuration if you'd like. It will require you to have some additional add-ons, and I will leave those in the description below. But otherwise, feel free to make it your own, whatever is the most comfortable for you. Thank you all for watching. Leave me a thumbs up if you liked the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.